Well, we basically just making fun of Dustin's new look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just my regular face. They're making fun of.
The only difference is you haven't got a hat on, really.
Well, I also have
glasses.
glasses on and a
It's the
blazer.
glasses and the blazer is something else.
It's the blazer which is absolutely getting me.
It's me too. Definitely the blazer.
Sorry, I can't look away.
Well, how about we make this into a show about making an agency instead of laughing at me, you guys?
I just love that. I love that we decided on what we're going to do this episode, and you went and got changed and came back without any warning, and expected us just to go along with that.
Pretend that nothing happened.
Oh man,
Trying to impress you with my commitment, Tom.
I love it. I love everything about it. Welcome to the Honest Designers Show, your transparent look into life as a modern designer. My name's Tom Ross, and I'm the founder at designcuts.com. And this week I'm joined by my fellow Brit and hand lettering expert, Ian Barnard, American retro design expert, Dustin Lee, and the incredibly talented South African illustrator, Lisa Clans. In this week's episode, we try something a little bit different and invent a design agency live, unscripted, and with no rehearsal. I thought it would be fun for the four of us to brainstorm the steps we would take if we were actually starting our own design company together. You'll learn how Dustin is really all about the money and how we plan on landing our first few clients with Lisa's sweet talking. Hopefully, amidst all the silliness, you'll find some actionable frameworks and steps that you can apply to your own creative endeavours. So without further ado, let's get into the show. So this week, we are doing something we've never done before, and this could possibly be the weirdest episode of the Honest Designers Show ever, but we thought we'd give it a go. So today we're going to be starting a company. We're going to be starting some kind of design agency between the four of us, and it's going to be a purely hypothetical company, but we're going to essentially work through this as if the four of us were actually starting a company. We're going to hopefully work through all the brainstorming and branding and defining our clients and what we would actually do in this scenario to hopefully offer some sage advice to those listening. What's probably going to happen is the four of us are going to fall out. Dustin, I think, is going to get greedy about the money. Lisa's going to want more of a shareholding. Ian and I are going to butt heads over the creative, and probably the company will disband and go bankrupt on a hypothetical level anyway.
Needs to be realistic.
Yeah.
I feel like this sort of thing I feel like these kind of companies are built on trust. And I feel like because of the lack of that, this is going to not really.
And if you're
wondering
who just spoke, that is Dustin Lee, in case you were confused.
Yeah, for anyone listening to the audio version of the show rather than the video version, Dustin is currently looking a bit like some kind of supervillain.
That's funny because this is just how I look.
But she's even.
So this agency, we have less than 1 hour, presumably normal episode length, and by the end of it, we want a fully fledged company. We want a design agency which is going to be a massive success, and we're going to try and define everything. So based on previous episodes, I guess where we probably start is we antagonize over the business card for an hour, right? And don't do any actual work.
Just an hour.
Yeah.
I would say weeks. That's normally
Weeks,
the
okay,
case.
yeah. Right.
Weeks.
Sorted. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, first of all, we decide what are we going to offer. And I think for the sake of this hypothetical episode, in fact, I'm going to stop saying hypothetical. From here on out, this thing is real. We're going to take it seriously. So
In it to win it.
for this company, I would suggest that we pool all of our collective skills rather than niching down. Otherwise, it would be pretty lonely if we were like a lettering company working Ian to death while the three of us do nothing.
Sounds good
I like
to me.
that idea. Yeah.
So,
I must say.
So
I feel like the three of us could peer pressure him into it, keep him going.
you can do it, Ian.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the collective skills I would say are lettering and calligraphy with Ian, illustration and drawing with Lisa, and kind of some branding as well. Dustin, I think you're actually a hell of a layouter. And kind of just not like boring magazines, as in like he can really bring together like a solid design. You're almost like the creative director, so to speak.
Presentation, scanning some textures, brushes if you need them. No one's gonna need that. Okay, like layout.
All the kind of, for me, it's like the bringing it all together, like with the final finesse and the details and that kind of thing.
I reckon you'd be good at making a coffee,
and then making everything, making everything about money. I can picture myself.
Yeah, exactly. Always about money. And I would say 100% the marketing side as well as just being like our intern or something. And then I would be on the web design side of things, as well as definitely the marketing and kind of business and strategy side of things. Would that be a fair assumption of the services which we can offer?
Yes. Sounds good to me.
Tom, do you know what would be good? I don't know, obviously this requires work on your part. Was that
I don't like that.
Once we've come up with this thing today, you quickly mock up because you've been doing a lot of website critiques, and you could, what would really help people, because one of the things is this clear message. You could use, it doesn't have to, we're not looking at like just where you would put like our message.
Yep.
And where you would put, like hire us as a team, for those people, like a quick rough template that you could help out. Because like, when you tell people you need your message here, when I was hounding you the other day on the episode about what are the words, I'm a visual person. I need.
Well, the thing is, we're going to come up with that in this episode. So we're going to come up with the wording and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe you could, like, if you have, like, I know you don't have 5 minutes, but
I've got an idea. We could all play a role in that. Like, I could do a couple of illustrations for it. You could do some hand lettering for the design. Dustin, you can put it together.
If we took this really far, we should actually put it out there and see if we get client requests.
No, we should do that. And then when we get them, we just say, give us a lot of money or outsource it to someone else.
And we'll just take a cut.
We should charge like $50,000 a project and then outsource it to Fiverr.
We could also set up like maybe if we could go undercover, and so we can, like, rather than say, because obviously we have a more well-known
brand or name. I know what you mean. It's like when J.K. Rowling wrote as a man to prove she could be successful through her writing, not her name.
Maybe we can we can experience, go back and experience, because obviously I've been through 18, 19 years of design.
Yes.
What would it be like to start from scratch? If we could, we don't put our own faces, we just use a face. We all choose a face to go on this website with this
stock photo.
Yeah. And we set up an Instagram and we set up a Facebook, and we just maybe, go through that, so we can then do another episode, say, okay, what worked, what didn't work, not relying on the fact that we have, you have design cuts, Lisa has her.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I love the idea so much, but we probably are not going to have time to take it this far. But if we can, and we do, and we can chat after this episode, we'll keep the listeners updated.
Yeah.
But for now, let's nail down what we're actually going to be offering. And I get really carried away about this stuff, so I'm like actually so close to being like, screw it, I just won't see my girlfriend for the next month.
And we're going to all lose gas if we don't have much runway. We got to figure out how to make money fast. So whatever we're offering, we got to make sure we can start getting some money in the door ASAP.
Exactly. Okay, so straight away we've got our services. So we've got lettering and calligraphy, illustration, branding, marketing, and social media type stuff that can involve all of that. Sound good?
Sounds brilliant.
Cool.
I'd hire us.
Next,
done.
Next, I guess my next port of call would be, who do we want to target? Who do we care about, and we want to do this work for? Right.
I would say my preference would be kind of medium to high end corporate companies.
Okay. So,
for example,
maybe in the toy or food space, I feel like with your illustration and Ian's lettering, it's going to work in more playful spaces like food or toys, or any brand where they need an accessibility, fun feeling.
When I think about it, I think of companies like Paper Chase.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys know them?
Yes.
They're big
So
over here.
they do like these, like really cute notebooks and stuff like that, and they're a very big chain. But that would suit Lisa's style very well. It would suit Ian's style well.
Yeah. Plus, you get a lot of makers in there that want to actually letter and stuff too. So like, they would be 100%. Interested. Plus, like, they're not on top of their game. I feel like we could probably maybe beat them.
So I wrote down Paper Chase. What other types of companies would we target? Because for me, it would be that level of like, they're obviously a very big company, but it would be medium to big, as Lisa said. Mm-hmm. And for me, it would have to be very creative and fun brands.
Yes.
So I'm thinking as well, like Innocent Drinks. You know them?
Yeah.
No, don't know them.
Smoothie company.
Yeah, smoothie company, but they've got a real like quirky kind of fun, friendly brand as well. If we're going like super clean corporate, that wouldn't work, I don't think, for our style.
No, I agree. What about targeting the in-between guy? So marketing or communication companies? Like kind of. I mean, I know that's kind of what we do as well, but
yeah.
You want a steady flow of work. So you've done all the work of getting that client. You don't just want a one-off job from them. You want something that's going to happen every. Yeah.
You want to essentially create their brand so that any subsequent, whether it's a TV ad or print marketing or whatever it might be, if they hired someone else, it would be completely incongruous because they had such a defined look. It's like you almost might as well have done it in hand.
Food companies are great like that, like the juice one you were talking about and stuff, because they're constantly like seasonally, every season updating all sorts of materials.
Or even department stores, which, you guys call them department stores. Like you can approach those big guys and you can do everything from their packaging to, because, they all have their kind of house brands, their packaging to their marketing, advertising. You could even do some writing. Dustin, you're pretty good at writing.
You'd be doing it for the stores overall, or you'd be doing it for like the individual stores within the big department store?
I would go for head office. I wouldn't mess around with the little guys.
Okay, cool. So I think we're maybe onto something with the food and drink and juices, that whole industry. And I've written here we've started using a company called Riverford, which basically offer super organic boxes of fruit and vegetables that get delivered to your door. And their whole marketing is very similar to, I think, our collective style. And that's like, it's fun and quirky and quite creative looking. And that fits with the whole like organic thing. So I can see a real rise at the minute in like organic food companies, health food companies, and veganism is obviously like a huge worldwide trend at the minute.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Do you think we'd be limiting ourselves by niching down into like the health food, organic food and drink sector?
No, I feel like we could like totally, you could not own it, but like you could get a good cut of it if you just like totally committed.
Because from there, if you become quite authoritative, gosh, there's a word.
An authority.
You could not only do like department stores, you could, single brands would start approaching you, as you were saying, and maybe restaurant food chains, like the high-end ones. So you'd probably attract other business just because they heard that they did good work on that, and it's their kind of thing that as we all know, clients generally are attracted to the thing that they like seeing, and if they have a point of reference, that's a good place to start.
Okay, so I've got restaurants, and again, I don't know which restaurant chains are going to translate, but we've got one called Giraffe here, which again, it's a huge national chain, but they've got a very kind of creative hand-drawn style about them.
Yeah.
So I think chains like that would be perfect, as well as the more kind of less corporate-y ones. So there's corporate that's pretending to be organic and handmade, and then there's like the truly authentic one where they might have 4 shops right now and they're more of a medium business, but they're really like home roots kind of thing. So we've got restaurants, we've got food and drink, as in like the actual products. Anything else around that kind of, I guess, like conferences maybe around food and drink?
Yeah.
One question I think I would consider is, do you want to go after newer companies and like become like a partner for the life of the company, or do you want to go after established ones? Because if you go after established ones, they're more likely to restrict you on what you do. Mm-hmm. Whereas with newer ones, you might not make as much money, but you have more freedom.
What I would say is, we're a new agency. I believe it would make more sense to target the medium-sized people to start with. I think small wouldn't pay the bills, and our collective experience would exceed that. But I think big, and we wouldn't have an established portfolio of relevant industry clients. So by going after the up-and-coming medium ones, you get the longevity of their business, as well as you start building up a solid portfolio of great medium-sized clients where you can really impact their business, work with them more closely on a personal level instead of through the corporate ladder of, communication. And you can get some real solid testimonials and stats on what your work does for them.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way of finding out if there's up-and-coming middle-sized companies?
I think just keeping an eye out, like looking on social media. There are lists. Journalists talk about like exciting new companies which are breaking out. Looking on social media.
Not to mention if we all went to trade shows together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
So
I'd feel like if we went to a trade show, we'd go in slow motion as we entered the door. You know how like the sort of Reservoir Dogs.
we'd all have to copy Dustin's outfit.
Yeah,
and just wear identical blazers.
If we get to speak anywhere, we'll have to do that.
Please, it would be hilarious.
And we can add worldwide to the end of our names since we're from 3 different countries.
And like we could win a toy at the amusement park and say we're award-winning designers.
That should be a tip for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not a lie.
It's not a thing.
No, but the thing is, you could do like some, karate championship when you're 13 and you
exactly
still award-winning and a designer.
You're looking at under-9s chess champion. Pretty cool kid.
I can think, is that real? Because I can picture that.
Oh yeah, and I'm talking like decent standard.
Wow.
And then I discovered friends and girls, and suddenly chess didn't seem so important. Okay, so yeah, we've established the services we're going to offer and the industry and sector we're going to be targeting, as well as the range of businesses and a few kind of within that sector, like types of business, so food and drink products, conferences, etc. And we've decided we're going to start with medium-sized companies who are up and coming. So what I would suggest as a next step is the research phase, and we break down each of those categories, and maybe each one of the 4 of us would go after researching a different one. So it's like I could get restaurants, Dustin might get food and drink, Ian might get conferences, etc., etc. So we'd all have to come up with as many as we possibly could. And this is the kind of non-design boring work, but I don't find it boring, but you know what I mean? It's not creative, where you just come up with, say, 100 companies in one column, and next to each company you put notes, and it could be notes about like how much their brand sucks right now, or how they seem to be like growing incredibly quickly, so now's the time to reach out, like whatever relevant notes there are. So I would say between the 4 of us, we could easily come up with, say, 1 to 400 companies
together.
Collectively.
1 to 400?
Potentially. And all right, let's say 100. So if we each come up with 25, I could easily find 25 restaurants.
Yeah.
All right, let's say 100 then. And then I would say we would probably sit down collectively, talk through those companies and look at them together, and then could probably come up with a hit list of like the 10 which would be ideal to really target. And, we feel would be most likely receptive to our services.
Most likely receptive and a good fit both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say it would be worth doing due diligence about their founders and their team, and
without
if they look like the kind of people we want to work with, instead of desperately pandering, because that's going to save a lot of time rather than reaching out to 100 who aren't a good fit. We reach out to the 10 where not only could our design work help them, but we think we get on as people and our values align and all that kind of thing.
Precisely. Yeah.
So I'm going to stop kind of hogging the mic here. What do
you
think?
do well.
I can see why. The thing is, you demonstrating through what you're doing now is the reason why you've got design cuts and you head it up.
Yeah.
And we're like, The CEOs decide that. I'm fine with that. Who's got the company credit card, by the way? Anyway, I want to go and do some shopping at the Apple Store.
Friday beers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would say obviously the next step is coming up with a strategy of how we're gonna get the business.
Get on their radar. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it could be everything from, do we do a cold call, and if we do, how do we do it? Or is it something that we find a connection to get into the company? Do we know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, or is it literally like wowing them with something really special? So that I would say that would be the next step.
Tell me what you guys think about this. I'm curious. I'm curious about this. I really am. I'm curious about this. If I was to do this on my own, I would go to these trade shows, say, and I would talk to different people in the niche we've defined, and I would look for people that were in need of things, and there was opportunities already there where they needed something filled, and then I'd be like, okay, like what things match well, and then I'd cater to that, because I'd be like, oh, okay, we can start building upon the things that people already need. To me, that feels easy. I am curious if you guys think the better way is like kind of like Lisa said, to approach it and you just start taking meetings with people and trying to get them to hire you, or do you think it's easier or better to listen to the ones that need stuff and then begin to let your company kind of organically grow based on the vacuum in the industry in that area?
Well, I think your idea is brilliant. It's just that generally trade shows happen once a year or twice a year. So that's the only thing that I would be worried about, is like, how often are you going to meet these people?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, however, though, like whether it's emailing them or sending things out to people and getting calls with them, do you just pitch to people, or do you listen to what they have to say and then try to fill in gaps in the companies you choose?
Oh, definitely.
I kind of have an idea, but it's mainly because this is my weakest part of the chain of what we're going to look at today is sales. I prefer to just build something amazing and then people start gathering around it rather than like cold calling people.
Yeah, Lisa's good at that though.
But if I were to do this, I would probably write an open letter to the company that maybe included a personalized video we'd done with the four of us, done in like a creative way. We could even do the matching outfit thing or something tongue in cheek,
like Dustin's happy birthday video.
Yeah, like that kind of thing, but probably slightly more professional. Where we come across in like a personable way, but also super passionate about helping them. And like we've actually done our due diligence. We've highlighted some weaknesses in their current brand and we presented ways we could fix it. And then we put that video and we embed it into an article, probably on LinkedIn, maybe Medium or somewhere like that as well. And then I would be trying to hit up the people in their organization who maybe not like the CEO, unless they were like, if they were really medium, you could like go straight to the top. But if they were a bit bigger, maybe you're hitting up their creative director or their marketing or whoever the key people were, and you're trying to build relationships with them on LinkedIn, but also where they live on Twitter and other social networks. And you're not just one person, you're literally getting on all of their radars. So you can pretty much guarantee a handful of key people in the company will have seen this open letter, and the fact it is open and there for the public is almost kind of, it's out there, like it's not like a private cold call that they can bin off. It becomes harder to ignore. What do you think?
Not a bad idea. The only thing is, for me, I would prefer, I guess, talking to somebody directly rather than hoping that someone of importance is going to see it. But
and okay, and this is why it's like group talents, right? Because as I say, I hate that side of things. So
me too.
But you've got more experience, I think. So maybe we unleash Lisa as step one, just to actually cold approach them in a professional manner. And if that works, great, we're in. But if it doesn't, then we put a bit more time and effort and get a bit more creative with it.
Well, and the great thing is when you're first starting, the one thing you do have is time. So we would have the ability to do multiple things and say which one's working. Maybe Tom's letter gets more the qualified ones. Maybe Lisa going out and doing that. We have the time to trial that for.
Yeah. And maybe it's unprofessional, but I would actually say we are so passionate about what we can do long term for you guys, and our dream would be to help you for the long term, that we'd be happy to put together like a free proposal and like actually do some rebranding work, for nothing, and just bring that and be like, here's how great you could look, and there's no risk. All the risk is on us and our time. All you have to do is look at it and go, actually, yeah, that could work for us.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that that's a good idea in terms of spending our time? I mean, it depends on, I guess, it depends on on the target, because if it's lucrative enough and we land it, then it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd almost have to rate who is the most promising.
Yes. You have to rate the most promising, and you also have to rate the longevity of it. So if it's not, if we're just going to get one-off job that's worth a couple of $100, it's not worth the effort.
Where do you underprice us? No, I think the whole point of what we're deciding here is that we want ongoing long-term clients.
Okay.
And
they're
the only people that we're approaching.
Okay. And then I'm with you then.
And that's what we're pitching as well. We're saying we want to reinvent your brand and do your ongoing work for you.
What else could be cool is, if you have time, it sounds so fun to like try different things and just show people what you would like. I guess that's kind of what you're talking about, Tom, is pitching people or just pitching imaginary potential ideas. I think I was picturing, I wish I could remember her name. She's Danielle. She does amazing food typography, and I was just picturing Ian doing this amazing food typography like her, and like making fun projects and being like, check out the personality of it. What's her name? You know it, Ian. Danielle.
Marmalade Blue.
What?
She goes under Marmalade Blue, doesn't she?
I think so. She has kind of short hair. She's the most friendliest person ever.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
But just on the time thing, would we really have that kind of time? I mean,
we got all the time in the world.
And who's paying the bills?
You are. You've got a bunch of money. I mean, our runway's got to be at least a few years with the money you've got saved up.
True.
No, I'm joking. I don't know. How much time do we have?
We did it when we started the company, where we basically were putting in the time for free up front to get it off the ground. And I think that's quite a common approach. So given that we have established careers, and let's say we have some kind of financial buffer collectively, I would say it would be a better start point to allocate
time that we offer
to like 1 to 3 months, maybe.
Okay.
To putting in time up front to get this thing off the ground.
Okay, sorry. Then I misunderstood you. Sorry. I thought we were like kind of newbies who didn't have money, didn't have this, whatever. Okay, no, that's fine. I understand.
No, I mean, like if we were doing this tomorrow, like if we all stop what we're doing now.
Oh no, then as you said, we've got all the time. Then we can experiment and have fun and go ballistic and And
I still want this to be helpful for newbies, but I think we have to be realistic with where we're at now.
Yeah.
If we were newbies, we wouldn't be going for like medium to big businesses necessarily.
Why not?
What, for four of us? you would want to go, even if we were starting out with nothing, you want to go for that large, because otherwise it's just not going to cover the bill to pay 4 people.
No, I agree. I'm just being
the thing, and even
facetious.
And even as a newbie, like for me as a freelancer, I made sure I had a buffer of like 3 months' pay.
Yeah, you have
just in case it really didn't work out.
Exactly. No, you must do that. It's smart. I mean,
you not must. I was broke and I did it, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, you know how stressful that is, Dustin. So if you can, if 3 months buffer would be good. But
I just mean literally, you don't have to must, because you can live in poverty like I did and do it. It's just better if you can for staying alive.
Yeah,
yeah, life is good in the scheme of things. Let's
not forget too that Ian like got big from doing stuff with like vegetables on paper. So that's a food thing that like mixes. I feel like there's something there we should take advantage of.
There is. I mean, all of that could play out. In fact, this fits so perfectly.
It does.
Like, so we're looking at the food industry, and specifically health, organic foods, all that upcoming trend stuff. Like, if we're also looking at offering the services of branding and social media and marketing, Ian can be lettering with their vegetables messages about their brand. Like, this is perfect. Anyway, so I guess my next step would be, are we looking at like setting up a brand ourselves and a hub, a website to present to people, or are we going straight in and pitching to people without that base? Are we trying to validate the idea and get the business before we then go and build a brand? And
I'd be all about that.
I would say like it depends on how quickly we can put a website together that would be simple but effective and we'd be okay with. We'd have to weigh up, could we do that? If we couldn't, if we're wasting our time, then I'd get the business first.
I would lean towards getting the business.
If the point of a website is to get business with all four of us, I feel like we don't necessarily need a website to get the initial business to get going.
I agree. It's just that if you're in a meeting and they say, "Oh, can what's your website? We'll go and have a look, or whatever." And you say, "Well, we don't have one." It might be a little bit of a.
But you get the meeting because you already know the people, because there's four of us with like 500,000 people that like we can reach out to.
Just use the excuse, I'm just too busy to make a website at the moment. I just got too much work.
Too busy creating awesome
Ian
designs.
could just show his Instagram and just like drop his phone on the ground with 300,000 followers.
But we could literally put a landing page together in an afternoon. I mean, it wouldn't be.
That's true.
I think we need something.
All right, so how about we do that and we do a one-page website, because we're not even going to have work to share. We do a one-page landing page and we say we're going to allocate no more than 2 days on this. And anything more would be a waste of time.
Yes.
Do we all need to work on it anyway? Like, Tom, you're the website guy, so you could just quickly bosh one out in half day, couldn't you?
I would say, Ian, you would be the logo with Dustin working alongside you. So you'd be like the lettering of the logo, and Dustin could creatively direct and maybe do some of the graphics with the logo and brand. Lisa, I could see you doing like so many of the decorative, beautiful elements for the website, so we could collaborate on that, and I could help with the wireframe and layouts, and you could help with the aesthetic.
Absolutely.
And then we get a landing page together, and it would be up and done. Okay, so that's done. That's 2 days, and that could be like, if our backs were against the wall financially, you probably wouldn't do that. But as we're saying, we want to do this properly, and we've got a little buffer. Let's do that. Let's drink some coffee, have some fun, and actually kind of get the culture of this company right, where we're actually enjoying it and like getting some fun ideas. And I think through doing that, it would also be worthwhile, because we'd be defining our messaging and how we're going to pitch to clients and clarifying the intent and the idea of what we're doing. So when we go and talk to clients, having done the website gives us more focus for what we're going to bring in those meetings. And
we could also, I mean, even if we haven't got a portfolio to show, previous work focused around these themes, we could create some kind of hype on social media with, for example, illustrated recipes. I mean, that's quite a biggish trend. Ian could do the hand lettering. I can do some of the illustrations, and Dustin could market the shit out of it. And Tom, you could all those kind of things that we add to the website.
Tom, you could No,
but I'm saying you could add those things to the website, because that would be like a side project that would be quite a
absolutely
relevant.
So, I do feel like we haven't mentioned, Tom, you said you're not really into the sales thing, and that's your weakest point, but I disagree. I think your ability to network with people and get them to buy maybe doesn't feel like sales to you, but you're constantly selling people and being a part of what you do. So I feel like you should be the person doing the meetings and talking to people.
That's true.
Meetings and talking to people is fine. It's just the cold calling that I hate. So
you don't have to do that.
Yeah. So like I guess we would all put out shouts on our social media and saying we're trying something new. It's very exciting. Does anyone know anyone in the health foods industry? A family member, friend, whatever. We want to make as many connections as possible. What I would love to bring to the table is, through their suggestions and in general, start befriending and hitting up everyone I could that's an influencer in the health foods industry, and getting to know them.
In my head I heard hitting on.
Hey, I like the look of your organic plums.
We're back on the ball.
So all right, so I don't want to spend too much time on this part, because I don't believe it's the most important thing. But as we are branding ourselves here, what is our core kind of messaging going to be? Is it going to be a case of like, we love this type of food ourselves. We're passionate foodies, but we're even more passionate about design, and we want to, you know, what's it going to be? Is it going to be we're going to help you compete with the big boys? Is it going to be, you know,
yeah, hear what you're saying.
we want your design to be as incredible as your
product.
We want to give you a design which fits with the kind of earthy, homemade, like wonderful organic nature of your products. I don't know.
We could play on the whole fact that the four of us are quite individual people. So maybe do the whole ingredient angle. Like, you know, their stuff's like all these kind of ingredients come together to make a beautiful thing.
Absolutely love that. Yeah, I was kind of arrogantly thinking like Dream Team before.
Because like if
we could call it the veg patch.
Yes.
Like think like you could picture like Ian making like these amazing lettering things for, I don't know, juice companies or coffee companies or whatever. You could picture Lisa doing these cute little bunnies and nature creatures for little having kids. Like they make all sorts of little packaging of little purees and all sorts of different baby foods that have like cute little animals on them. And then I could make like old school looking food stuff.
Yeah.
This is very cool. And then we combine the 4 ingredients kind of down on the landing page or whatever, and the end meal / result would be like 50 years plus experience, and all are like the collective benefits of having this kind of dream team come together.
Plus you have a matrix. Like you could mix, like, you know, like you get Lisa and me and you get like old school kids food thing. You like mix Ian and Lisa and you get this other, like
that's so cool.
It makes all these crazy combinations of
yeah. I get it.
Could we not use the tagline we love design more than we love food, and we really love food.
I'm loving that.
Oh, that's the best.
and then could we do it where we make our pitches creative around that, where we actually take them out to like a really nice, healthy, cool
burger
restaurant
joint.
Yeah, and then we show them a lighthouse. But yeah, we could, instead of being like, can we go and stand in a meeting room, it's like, we'd love to take you to this like uber cool up and coming healthy restaurant which we think you're going to love, and chat through how we can make your brand awesome. So we're doing it with a bit more panache and confidence than amateurs would do.
Yes. Let me tack on to that idea. Tell me what you think of this. Like, what if, since we've already spent a lot of time talking to each other, like we're pretty comfortable talking in front of each other in a group, what if we sent people out little pitch videos that were really well recorded, where like it was almost like one of those YouTube videos where like we open up the product, we eat it, we talk about it, and then like talk about what we would do with it, and then like we show like a little sample of what we would make at the end. I feel like if I owned a food company, I would totally do that. I'd be like, wait, these people are going to like try my food and chat about it, and then like at the end there's going to be a little pitch of what they would do.
Yeah, I absolutely think that would be amazing for branding and reputation as we try and get known in the industry. But I would say the priority would be pitching and getting the business in, and I think that other stuff should run forever, kind of alongside that.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I think that's more of a long-term strategy.
Stupid. Yeah, you're right.
No, like it's
no, that's brilliant. It's just a little further down the line.
Dustin. Yeah. No. I mean, I'd be happy to do it from the start.
Shame,
I think,
Dustin, like
I would say kick off by we've whittled down to those 10 people. So now let's do everything in our collective power to get on their radar, to pitch to them, to make sure they know who we are and what we can do for them. Let's take them out for nice lunches. Let's, confidently talk about what we can offer them and just do a solid pitch. Like, we've all done enough pitching in our life. Even if I still hate the cold calling, I can do a pitch. I can talk about how to help them when it comes to design and marketing. I'm confident with that stuff.
So weird. I'm the opposite. Okay,
I'm an introvert. Can I just sit in the corner and hope some work comes in?
you can just sit there and letter what you want to say with a courgette.
Yes.
We could be like Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
I'll be the quiet one, just doing stuff.
So we're going to hit these 10 people up. I do think alongside that we should be putting out content, like Dustin said, and just showing a real passion, because a lot of these people we're going to be targeting, they're going to be passionate company owners who care deeply about food making a difference in the health of people's lives, etc., etc. So we want to show that we resonate with that and that we're on the same page and care about similar values that they do, which presumably we do. And so through showing that passion and constantly, like on our feeds, we should actually be enjoying healthy food in candid snaps as well as talking about design. So we're showing we're real people. We're doing the kind of candid Instagram stuff. Here we are brainstorming in our office, having a meeting about how to make this brand better, and look at all the healthy snacks on our table while we do that, because that's our two passions, food and design.
As long as it's real. I mean, what I'm saying is it shouldn't
that
be
would
forced.
be real for me. I love, like, honestly, if everything went away tomorrow, I'd be genuinely thinking about doing this with you guys. Like, that would be a super fun company.
Dude, it'd be really fun.
Oh yeah,
it would.
You get so much delicious food all the time too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
can you imagine?
Like endless
I'd be
sweetness.
amped.
Yeah.
Like, because I think the key takeaway for the listeners is you have to actually care about the sector you're targeting and the clients. And I could talk to those people all day long, and I love food. Like, I would actually care. It wouldn't bore me. If I had to go and design for banks all day, that would suck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I work for a bank. You don't want to do that.
Try telling that to my best friend.
Tell him that it's one of like the bumps you hit on the way down to rock bottom. Like when you're like falling down the pit. Like that's one of the places where you hit your head on the way to rock bottom.
I will tell him that.
Crazy. Oh.
Take him down a peg or two. Okay, so what next? So we're pitching, we're putting out social content, we've got a landing page, we've got a hit list of potential clients. I really think there is something to be said for just really ingraining ourselves in that community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
where
I agree.
If you're a company owner of a health food brand, you will end up stumbling across us. And I think, again, that's the beauty of, we're not just pitching to anyone. Where, it's a relatively small industry when you actually narrow it down to the healthy food stuff, not just food in general. That's going to be a pretty small industry compared to just anything. How
would you, on this subject, how would you handle this? Because to me, I think I immediately, for some reason, thought of Dave Clayton. I thought how helpful and genuine he is. And as a result, like, you want to work with him, you want to be a part of what he's doing. And I thought, like, do you think somehow, I don't know how you would, but like how, like, integrating the friendliness and helpfulness that he has into like a business without asking for something immediately can help to grow the business, like to help to start it?
Yeah, sure. So either I would direct message on Instagram, because that's very powerful, the owners of these medium-sized up-and-coming health food companies, and then I'd message them and say, like, I really love your company. It's incredibly awesome. Do you mind if, totally free, I send you some suggestions to improve your website, for example? Or failing that, I would actually just put out, like I'm doing on my current Instagram, website critiques. And I would go on their website and be like, we love this company. They make the best food in the world, but their design's kind of so-so. So I'm going to film my screen and I'm going to point out everything on their website that would actually help their business. And then I'm going to tag their company in it and tag all their top people who I found their Instagrams in it as well. And then say in the description, guys, like, if you want any more advice, like, we're passionate about your company and we'd love to work with you.
Yeah.
And you don't think that they'd be, they'd think that was forward? Do you think, what I'm saying, is that a foolproof method, or if somebody
Probably
goes
not,
for it?
but
if I get an email with someone saying, we've looked at your site, don't think
it sucks.
Yeah. And I'm like, delete.
Exactly. And that's why I went more down the thought path of actually demonstrating value in a video like that. Because if the email message is easier to ignore, you would really have to, like, I think a cold call even is like harder to sack off because you have to hang up on someone, whereas a message you can ignore. So if you were messaging them, you would want to do so from a genuinely interested position of, not wanting to work from them, but wanting to build a relationship and being a fan of their food, et cetera, and just trying to provide any value you can for free. But again, I think at the level we'd be operating at, we would want to go in with an actual professional pitch. We wouldn't have to play the long game that we would if we were starting out, of like getting on their radar and befriending them for 4 months before we even discuss something like that.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Of course you remember. I was going to ask you if you remember what we were talking about before we got on this call, and you were talking about having really passionate people that are followers, right? And I think about that, and then I think about how like Ian is just so good at social media, and I feel like if you connected it somehow with like this passionate group of people, and you were like a social media influencer in a way. I hate using that word. I feel like I'm dressed when I say that. But if you could draw people's attention, like the company's attention, because like you made fantastic content about different foods, it's like a good way to like originally get attention or start the relationship, because you're doing them a favor and you're also showing how well you can present things on your own. It feels scattered when I say it, but
no, I get it. And that's kind of what I was getting at with the website critique. It's not to offend them and say what you're doing now sucks. It's to say, we love what you're doing, and here's some ways we would suggest to improve it.
I suppose it's the word. It comes down to the wording a lot, doesn't it? Because you can say,
yeah.
saying your website sucks. Here's what me should think it should happen.
So if we're condensing this down to one focused line of what value we can offer, this is the tough part, because I've thought about this stuff for days in the past, and we've got maybe like 2 minutes. But there's something there, like, you know, like food and beauty, like food should be presented beautifully. We're going to help you to present your food more beautifully. Like, it's kind of is that the crux of what we could offer? And then it'd be wording that correctly.
Like showing it's so good you can almost taste it, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's just brain dump. I always like to call this. So design so good your customers can taste it.
Yeah, but like maybe almost, because I feel like they're like, but it's even better when you eat our food. That's what I'd be thinking if I was a food people. I'd be like, you guys can only go so far. Because tasting it is what...
Wait, so your customers will almost... Yeah, so design so good your customers will almost taste it. Because by saying customers, you're being very specific. You're targeting companies. Our target demo. You're getting the kind of food pun in there, and then you extend that down on the landing page with like the 4 ingredients of the skills we bring together into the matrix we can offer them.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched marketing of a food that made you so compelled that you immediately went and got it so you could taste it and eat it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
I'm trying to think what springs to mind, but like all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I know what works for me. There's only like really one product, and that's Lindt.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Really, with the dude stirring the like pot of chocolate?
Oh man, and pouring it and making it into those lovely little balls.
Oh.
I'm always a sucker for Coke adverts, and I don't even like fizzy, sugary drinks. But on a hot summer's day, when they're there with like a glistening can of Coke,
but you don't even know what a hot summer's day is. Sorry.
Shush you. Shush you.
What a cold burn out of nowhere.
Hope you enjoy that winter you're going into.
Couldn't resist.
You know, I saw one time. It was for a company called Sudden Coffee, and they had little test tubes of instant coffee, and they were like, it's the best instant coffee in the entire world. And their marketing was just them going out in San Francisco, and they made a cup of theirs, and then they got Starbucks. Maybe it was Starbucks, or maybe it was a couple of different ones. And then they would have people taste it and to say which one is better. And everyone, like, one was fresh brewed, good coffee. One was their instant. And everyone was like, this is amazing, to theirs. I went and bought that stuff, and it was $25 for 8 vials of instant coffee. And I bought a subscription to that. Like, it sold me so hard.
Was it good?
It was good. It's just an expensive habit like drugs, so I had to stop.
Did you guys see, I might have mentioned this on a previous episode, but the CEO of Patreon, where he pitched Casey Neistat on YouTube? So Ian knows what I'm talking about. Do you guys? Yeah,
I saw
Dustin,
that
Lisa?
No.
Okay, do you know what Patreon is?
No.
So, all right, this is case in point. So his thing went viral, and he basically, do you know who Casey Neistat is? Like
no.
He's like he was YouTuber of the year. He's this daily vlogger the guy with the glasses.
Oh, right. Okay. See, that doesn't appeal to me. That's why I wouldn't know. But carry on.
You should watch it. You might really like it.
Yeah. So like very, very cool vlogger, and he's starting this new project called 368. And what's his name? Jack something, the CEO of Patreon. But anyway, so he did a really creative, cool video, like almost like an open letter, like I talked about before, pitching Casey. And he's like, here's why I want to work with you. And it was so well edited and shot. And he had this like unbridled passion coming across in it. And I do kind of think there's something there. And we could do like a creative way of doing that. Like we could go out on the street and we've redesigned some of the packaging of one of these products, and we show that random customers in the street prefer ours. And we're there being like, we are so passionate about like working with your company. Look at what we could do with half a day of our time. Like, imagine what we could do working together in the future.
Okay, that just reminded me of something very similar. Check this out. So this company wanted to make, back in the day, Aunt Jemima syrup. Are you familiar with that in the UK?
Yep.
No.
Okay. So they wanted to make Aunt Jemima syrup. It's basically syrup shaped like a lady. It's like yeah. Anyways, they went to whatever the company is that makes the syrup now and presented the idea, and they were like, no, that's not going to do well. That's ridiculous. So they took the initiative. This company took the initiative. They went out and they polled people and said, what syrups have you used in the past, 3 months, let's say. And on the list was like the 5 top syrups, including Aunt Jemima, which did not exist. And 80% of the people that took the survey said that in the past 3 months they had Aunt Jemima syrup. And they brought that back to the company, and like the company was like, all right, let's make Aunt Jemima. If just the name
That
makes
is
you think
classic.
you've had it and enjoyed it, like,
I love it.
So it's literally just a tick box on the thing.
Yeah. It must have been, yeah.
I'm just thinking, by the way, if part of our service is we're offering design but also marketing, we should be demonstrating our marketing savvy and social media savvy in our pitches. So even though it does feel like a lot of work, it would be worth it. And another thing we could do, we could almost like haze these companies one at a time, where we do like a social media campaign where it's like a week or 2 weeks per company out of the 10 companies. So say it's 2 weeks, right? So that's 2 companies a month. And so it would take 5 months. Maybe that's a bit long. Maybe we do a week. So in a month we hit 4 companies, and so it would take like 2.5 months to hit all 10 on our hit list, right? And so for an entire week, we just put out so much quality content, like videos showing how our rebrand can help in the street, like fun content here and there, like their fans and their customers are starting to see it. We're hitting up all their top people, and it's basically like a consolidated effort where the one aim that week is try and land that client.
yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It becomes very focused then, because there's no like fluff and there's no wasted time of like, we must redesign our business cards and all the other nonsense. It's like all 4 of us, every effort we're putting in, whether it's some kind of creative or whatever, is to get the business, whether it's cold calling, setting up meetings, stalking them on LinkedIn, putting together creative videos, doing free rebrands to get on their radar. Like the whole week is focused on that.
And the whole thing is, even if we, as you said, say we dedicate a month of our time to do this, and we realize, wow, it's not worth it because we haven't really landed the work that we needed, then at least we've done the exercise. You know, I mean, this is how you figure out what's working and what's not. And maybe within that, you realize, well, that definitely worked from that angle, but, you know, this didn't. So then next time you whittle it down, you just do less, but you get more results. I mean, yeah, it's any way you learn.
I completely agree. I feel like at some point, like even with this much information, you could go out and, like you're saying, Lisa, you could just try it. I mean, you don't know. You actually have totally incomplete information, and it's all speculation until you get all these ideas we just said and try them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, yeah, if we're doing one company approach a week and we're trying to do 10, and so that's 10 weeks, it's roughly 2.5 months. And let's say we took half a month at the start just to get everything set up and get the landing page and, you know, start planning this out a bit more fleshed out. That's basically 3 months. So in 3 months, we would have a website, crystal clear messaging, clearly defined services, a clearly defined sector, a hit list of clients we'd whittle down to the top 10, and then we'd put our heart and soul into using that buffer of free time and money we might have built up, 3 months of just pitch. And through doing that, we'd actually be building up a kind of portfolio, even if we never work with them, just by demonstrating what we can do and how creative we are in the pitches themselves. So at the end of 3 months, you'd like to think you'd get at least 1 or 2 of the 10 clients, and you've built up a presence, and you started to get ingrained in that industry where everyone starts hearing about you if they're anywhere close to the healthy foods industry.
And we still wouldn't have designed our business card.
or thought up a company name or anything like that. I mean, obviously we'd have to, but notice how we haven't talked about any of that nonsense this episode.
No, because it doesn't really count at the end of the day.
And it's so much easier after you've had a couple of clients or done some work, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think a big takeaway is if it didn't work out, and it may well not, but that's the risk we all take as designers, is don't be afraid to pivot. So if you're like, well, that didn't work out, but actually I really care about this other sector, or maybe something over there shows promise.
The thing is, you don't know what those connections make, because like there's some connections I made that was taken, a project off a completely different direction, which has been great, but you wouldn't have happened without those connections. I suppose every time you make a connection, whether you do make it with the company or not, or you're reaching out to someone and they go, oh, well, what about this? It could be a case like month and a half in, suddenly company out of the blue contacts us and, gets in contact and stuff like that. So I think, putting yourself out there and putting feelers out there and doing the things to do, you have one goal, but these other things pop up as well. So I think that's what
absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we all agreed if the GDPR thing destroys all our businesses that we're going to do this?
Yes.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'll put it this way. If I was a higher up at one of these companies, or say I'm a medium-sized up-and-coming healthy food or smoothie company or whatever, if I stumbled across our hypothetical website, I would be like, damn, they could not be more perfect for what I need right now. I would be 10,000 times more likely to hire them than some, jack of all styles agency.
Yeah. And I think what we all know by now is that you got to really ooze that commitment and passion. In every message that you have, whether it's on your website, your social media, whatever, and that's what clients are attracted to. If they feel that you are like so over the moon to do work for them, they're going to obviously want to hire you over somebody who just looks like, okay, another job,
So, should we very quickly fast forward and imagine we've got our first client or a couple of clients? Woohoo! Well done us. First of all, you and I go and get very drunk, Lisa.
Yes.
Because the other two are far more sensible and clean living than we are. But then what are we aspiring to do? So we, rather than like I guess it would be like a very intensive rebrand project up front, but then throughout the communication, it would be very clear how it was going to be ongoing, because they would constantly be needing new marketing materials. We take care of their social media posts, like everything. I mean, it could even get to the point where I think you'd actually need like one, certainly no more than 3 companies to sustain all 4 of us at a very decent level.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd need a regular clients for sure. As you said, at least 3 big ones.
And but you know what I mean? Like we'd be covering so many things for them that they'd be paying enough to actually support the careers of 4 experienced designers.
Yeah, we want to basically divide and conquer. No, we want to basically we want to be their go-to, like that they don't go anywhere else. They just pick up the phone and then phone us or email us, and that's it. And I mean, that must be our aim.
Yeah. So like suddenly we're doing their packaging design, but also their social media posts and blowing up their social media, and it would be fun as well, because you'd be looking for a variety of clients. So it could be like healthy, like crazy hot sauce company, versus like a organic vegetable delivery truck, versus, you know what I mean? They could be quite disparate, versus a cool restaurant chain that's growing in London. Like, Could be all kinds of stuff.
And you want to start developing a relationship and give a sense of authority to them to the point where they actually want to include you in their important meetings that they have about the vision of the company.
Yeah, so
even though you don't work for them,
you feel like an internal company, internal team there.
Exactly. Yeah. That should be our goal. That's the feeling that we should be giving our clients. That's what they want. We want them to feel from us, I would say.
Oh, are we? I know this is hypothetical. Would we all be working in the same place, or would we be working remotely?
Hypothetically, in the same place, because that would make it so much easier.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait for you guys to come here. Yeah. It's so cool.
As long as we have a slide in the office, I can go anywhere.
Done.
I can organise that. I can organise a slide into a swimming pool
with water in it.
With water in it, and it's 30 degrees.
Like a fireman's pole, like Ghostbusters.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. You could be like, when we keep coming up with ideas for people's businesses, where we're like Dr. Design, and you could brand it all around that. You could brand around that sort of like, Ghostbuster style thing, going out with a suit.
Who are you going to call?
Yeah, exactly.
Healthy food designers.
That has a ring to it. Nah.
I like it. That's good.
So are we all 25% on this, or?
I love it how you're always the one with the.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Of course we are, Dustin. And then we're going to pull a Social Network movie on you and dilute your shares.
Why am I laughing about that? That's not funny.
So we still haven't come up with a name though, because if they ask, we're in a meeting and they say, "What's your name?"
All right, go on. Should we close on that? Because hopefully, I've said right at the start, fair warning, this is going to be a weird episode.
Yeah.
So this has been our little pipe dream, but I do hope, because I wanted this episode to consolidate a lot of the stuff we've talked about on other episodes. And I think hopefully it's done that with like the actual focus of thought and showing like you can have a bit of fun with it. But like this is an hour. I know people spend literally months making less headway than I feel we've made in an hour. And that's purely through like doing it quite systematically and focused.
Yeah.
So let's end on a far sillier note and let's try and think up a name. And I'm a fan of puns.
Yeah. Or we can open it up to listeners. So whoever's actually got this far in the episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so to the three of you listening.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that everyone has judged this episode so hard.
Oh my goodness.
I'm rubbish at
just nothing with vegetables, because that's not such a good thing.
You don't want to nail, you don't want to because you might, like you say, might pivot to a different category, so it has to be quite generic. It doesn't have to.
True.
Doesn't want to be industry specific.
No. So.
Man, Yum is so good for a company, but Taco Bell owns it.
What as a word?
Well, like the parent company is called Yum Brands. And they own like Taco Bell and it's like, I don't know, I think like Kentucky Fried Chicken and stuff, but like I like Yum.
Yeah. I'm or like it could be nom. People are like nom nom nom.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's copyrighted, but something like that. It would either have to be like puntastic, a play on words, or something cool like yum or nom, or something that was like short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What about that? Short and sweet.
Like a midget covered in honey.
That could be it. A midget covered in honey. Kind of like how there's like that copyright company called 100 Monkeys. We could be a midget covered in honey.
Yeah. Imagine, YouTube title with "We covered a midget in honey, see what happened next."
I like nom nom. Nom nom. Although I think in the United States that's also something maybe for breastfeeding.
There's a brand in South Africa called Num Num.
All the good stuff's taken. See, invariably this takes the longest. And although, case in point, this is why you shouldn't do this stuff up front, because you never get anything done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we couldn't even call it Tom's. That's taken. That's taken by the people that make that toothpaste and the people that make the shoes.
Yeah, it is, because my Instagram, I'm doing this Tom's Drive thing, and most of the hashtags now are around my content, but like every few posts, it'll be someone photographing their feet, being like, I'm part of Tom's Drive because I bought a brand new pair. And they were like, throwing it up.
Tom, you said you weren't selling anything.
Get your discount shoes. Okay. Any closing thoughts? What have we learned today, children?
We've learned that.
I say that as the youngest one here.
Even though you're CEO of our company.
I was going to say we've learned that Tom is the CEO.
with none of the creative talent.
No, that's not true at all. Yeah, no, learned a lot.
I would say we've learned to focus on clients that you love and could happily enjoy the work and see yourself working with those people.
Yeah, and have a strategy on how you're actually going to land them as clients.
Mm-hmm. And focus. So instead of casting a wide net, really drill down to the ones you think are going to be receptive and suitable.
Yeah, and focus on the stuff that counts, not your own name and branding, but rather getting the work, I guess.
Consider what you're good at.
Yeah.
Or how it would match with what you want to do.
Yeah, what value you can bring these potential clients. Niche down in a creative way if you can. Don't be afraid to have fun with your branding. So like we did with us adding ingredients around healthy food, like that stuff can go a long way. And we always talk about examples of this. Like Ian said a few episodes ago, we were being like, be the doctor design or whatever. I'm going to fix up your website. And like, you can have fun with that stuff. It's more memorable.
As long as it's not too cheesy. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I was going to say
cheese it up. I like that stuff.
And have a bunch, like, I think the part to me that seemed like it would have the most leverage was we had a bunch of ideas that I feel like were all the types that we would execute on. A bunch of ideas, because you got to figure out what's going to work, and you really got to have those ideas and then actually follow through and try it and see if it works.
This also shows, the whole niche jack of all trades we keep talking about, and there's both sides to it, is that you can niche down, but then we've got the team is jack of all trades. So I think, there's that sort of weird, it's when you're like trying to please everyone with every skill, it's the niching down, but providing lots of things for.
Well, it's kind of like you're a jack of all trades in a certain industry. Like,
yes.
I've been
by the way, what else
much with my followers lately. And I completely agree. Like, so many people don't want to pigeonhole themselves. So they're like, well, I like doing 10 different types of design work. And I keep saying, that's fine, but you need to have a shtick. You need to have something which niches you down in some way. And it doesn't even have to be a sector or an industry. It could literally be like, I'm the person that makes you appear more human. So I offer 10 different types of design work, and I'm going to target people across a range of industries, but their brand is cold and lifeless and dead, and I'm going to turn it around and make it bright and human and approachable. And that's my niche. And that becomes something where someone sees it and goes, yeah, I'd hire you because I want that to apply to my brand, rather than I wouldn't hire you because you're just another designer offering anything for anyone.
What's so funny is there's a big debate about this, but if you ask me, and I bet anyone that's a designer to list their favorite designers, 70 or 80% would be niche down. I mean, I think of my favorites and I'm like, these people are so defined in the style and way they do things. It's crazy how much of a debate there is about it.
Yeah, because I was going to say, that's exactly it. It's not necessarily because they only do logo design or they only do these kind of brands. It's because there's a particular style. So that's their niche. It's not that they've only do certain work. It's people go to them for their style, and that's to me is the ultimate niche, because then you can do anything. You can do websites, you can do whatever, but you can always apply your particular personality or style to the work. That's why they hired you. I think that's a cool niche to be
and
in.
everyone's afraid that it's going to go away. Oh, if you pick this thing, it will maybe be gone, or that's dangerous. But I can't think of anybody that's disappeared that I loved, and I've been doing it for 10 years. I can't, there's no horror stories of people disappearing.
It's like saying like you'll disappear because that's who you are. I don't know. 'Cause,
I think that was more of a threat. You'll disappear, Dustin. Right.
If you don't watch yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess, just to kind of close off what we're saying about niching down.
Can I actually, before I forget, I've got an analogy. You know how I like analogies.
You love them.
So the way I found my niche and what happened after is a bit like a bow tie. Okay, you understand in a minute. Keep with me. So the beat, like one heart, like you got your bow tie.
You got 10 seconds.
Yeah. You start off, jack of all trades, lots of things going on. I narrowed down to a niche of just lettering, and now it's opening out with me adding skills to that lettering. So at first I wasn't doing like mural designs. I wasn't doing typefaces. I wasn't doing some other things. But at the beginning I was. So I had to find my niche, had to find that one thing, and now I'm being sort of a jack of all trades within that niche, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So, precisely.
So it's not limiting. It's not limiting.
The shape of the bow tie. So it was wide at the beginning. I narrowed it down to lettering, and then I opened it back up to inside the area of lettering.
Yeah,
I'm liking that.
I don't know, like a sand timer really. So you get all your stuff, you narrow it down so you can focus on what that thing is that people can see that you're and it helps people to see what you're about, I suppose. Because like for instance, there's like Becca Larson, she does like food and object lettering. It was she sort of niched into doing lettering with things, but it's opened up into a massive amount of work for her because there's so many companies that
different
sell
projects,
things that she could use in her lettering. So
that's awesome.
If that makes any sense, and
it does.
It did in my head.
Nice. Ian's bow tie, ladies and gentlemen. Now copyrighted. Cool. Well, I'm going to call it there because this was a wee bit of a long one, but it was fun to brainstorm. This has always been my favorite part. As much as I love running companies, the initial bit is so fun, just to like have a blank slate and brainstorm and bring it all together. So I hope to anyone listening, whether you're running something which maybe doesn't have like the traction you want and you're not getting the clients you want, maybe it's time for a rebrand and this talk will help. Or if you're just starting out, maybe that helps to give some direction. I would say, of course, have the self-awareness of where you're at. We would probably take a different approach if we all rewound 15 years and didn't have the experience. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. And from all of us here at Gastro Design, that was one of my worst notes I had written down.
What about the Manor Mafia, or it's something that rhymes with
the what Mafia?
Manor.
Manor?
That's food.
Oh, like manna, like power food. Yeah.
Bread.
Okay, cool. The Muffin Mafia. We will see you next time, I guess. Back to normal programming next week. But bye from us for now.
See ya.
Bye, you guys.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. We hope that you enjoyed our thinking around how to push forward with a creative agency, and we would love to hear from you if you enjoyed this episode. As always, you can find full show notes over at honestdesigners.com or find us over on iTunes by searching for The Honest Designers Show. If today's episode helped you, then it would mean the world to us if you took just a moment to leave us a quick review over on iTunes, as this is one of the best ways for other creatives to discover the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next week right here on The Honest Designers Show.